And now, from the Marquee Media Studio inside Mark Tank, it's the Mark Haney Show.
Yes, this is the Mark Haney Show, and we have been on a mission to ignite the entrepreneurial revolution right here in the hometown we love. My team has made it clear to me that they are a little bit tired of me saying that we're still on a mission to ignite the entrepreneurial revolution, and that the revolution has already been ignited. And I've got to admit that that's true, that these sparks have happened, and there are plenty of success stories in the world of entrepreneurship right here in the hometown we love. So it's apparent that those sparks have been ignited and that they are growing, and that really what we're doing now is just throwing fuel on the fire. And the main way that we are doing that is through the Backyard Advantage. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later in the show. But today on the show, we have part of this region's success. We have Mario Astorga. He is the founder and CEO of Early Toast. They are part of the success in entrepreneurship that we have in our region. It's a successful business that provides early morning breakfast, great food in the morning. And Mario has been recognized all over our community as just one of the most wonderful entrepreneurs in the region. You're going to get a chance to get to know him on the show. You're going to learn that entrepreneurs come in all shapes and sizes. Mario has an incredible story of perseverance. And what I love about Mario, one of the things that I love about Mario is his humility. He truly is a humble man. He is one of these people that is truly authentic. He wears his thoughts openly so that we can all relate to them. And I think that that's been effective actually in the way that he's ran his company. His team has rallied around this authenticity and this humility, and together they've built one heck of a restaurant or a group of restaurants. So stick around, hear the story of Mario Astorga and Early Toast. I am now here with Mario Astorga. He is the founder and CEO of Early Toast, or is it Mario's Early Toast?
Mario's Early Toast.
It's Mario's Early Toast. And you've got quite a following in the food in the area of food. People love your restaurants.
Yeah, I'm very blessed in regards to how that community has backed me up and supported me throughout the years. And I'm grateful for that.
We have to stand in line when we go there, though. That's the only problem with it.
It is.
Why is it? Okay, so what is, we were talking about the Jason Salinas menu item. Jason Salinas is this fitness stud that happens to be my wife's cousin that Mario is friends with. But you have, he's got his own menu items on your menu. That's fitness stuff?
Yeah, we do that on purpose because there's a lot of people that are health conscious nowadays, and they want to eat cleaner. Mm-hmm. They want to stay in good shape. So that part of the menu, we use the extra virgin olive oil, your egg whites, your special turkey. I think it's 93.7 turkey, 93% fat free. So we try to, give people a clean type of eating.
So if I eat that, will I look like Jason Salinas?
Well, you look good right now. You look good.
So okay, tell me about the following though. So you guys have built this incredible following. I heard about you from a financial advisor, and I just happened to be talking to him, and he mentioned that he knew you, and I'm like, oh, I got to know that guy.
Yes. So Doug McFarland.
Yeah, Doug. Yes.
Yeah, from Bear Financial. He's been helping me out immensely. Became good friends with me, and I think. My restaurants have gone through a lot. Life brings obstacles along the way. And during the journey, I think I have had the strength to continue, evolving into a point where you kind of perfect your menus, perfect your structure, perfect the way you want things to run. We're not perfect. I'm imperfect. Obviously, I was created imperfect, but we came to a point where I really believe we're doing a great job in the breakfast industry.
Yeah. And is it, what would you see the key? Obviously, you've been through some obstacles, so that perseverance has led you to deliver a high quality product. But is there a differentiation? Is it more the service, or is it more the food, or a combination?
Well, Mark, I can proudly tell you that I'm surrounded with incredible people in my life. I've been very fortunate. I hear a lot of people complaining in the industry that they're short-staffed, that they don't have the right people, the right personnel. And God has blessed me with a lot of amazing people around me. I believe that my success is because of the staff members that are with me. The only thing that I always have asked my staff is love on people. Love them. Actually, Amanda, my CEO, said to me, "You always tell people you love them." And I go, "Well, I do." Yeah. I do. You learn to love the people that have been supporting you. And I'm in this area because of everybody in my community. So I can't help to be grateful and thankful for it, especially after everything I've gone through.
Yeah, you were telling me about that when we talked earlier. You mentioned one time that really caught my attention. I jotted down the note where you actually threw a Bible.
Yeah.
What happened?
I'm a former professional athlete. A lot of people have known me. I played for the Sacramento Knights here in the 90s, and I tore my ACL. And I remember my mother coming into my room because I was throwing the Bible around, getting mad, thinking, if I've been so loyal to my faith, why is this happening to me? Not knowing that sometimes God has a different path for you. And if it wasn't for that ACL injury, I wouldn't be where I am today in the restaurant industry. And my mother warned me that day, be careful what you say, be careful what you do, because you don't know what your future holds 2 years from now. So be careful, Mario. And she was right. There was soccer players have struggled in a way in this country. We're finally stabilizing Major League Soccer. Obviously, we have the Sacramento Republic here now. I'm very proud of the ownership. I'm very proud of what we're trying to do. But through those struggles, everything that happens to me now, I always say, okay, God, what's next for me? Give me the wisdom and the courage to handle it.
How did you, after throwing the Bible, though, to get to where you are today, what was the turning point there? What happened?
That's a good question. There was a lot of failures afterwards. There was a lot of failures. Yeah. And but I believe that, I remember clearly that you have to believe without seeing. Remember that. Blessed are those that believe without seeing. You always got to have hope. So you got to keep chopping away at life. I meet a lot of people that give up on life. A lot of successful people that I have met throughout my life, they disappear from the area. They drive away from the area. They move to different areas because they're ashamed of their failures.
Interesting.
And I believe that, to me, failure is kind of like God sculpting you to be better. He starts to sculpt you, and then you become so good at overcoming failure that you start succeeding in life that way. But if you don't have failure in your life, then you're never going to learn how to overcome it. I hope that makes sense to you.
It does. And I wonder, that attitude or that way of thinking, where did that come from? Did that come from your mother? Do you think obviously God had the overarching influence on this, but a lot of times our upbringing teaches us whether to be a victim and run from an embarrassment, or face it and improve.
Mark, you're going to make me cry here. This is not going to happen, right? No, I have to say my biggest hero is my mom. She's a cancer survivor. She was given 2 months to live back in 2015. And I remember, even in her stage, she would say to me, when you get your priorities straight, you will succeed. So I said to her, what do you mean by priorities? I thought you should be proud of me. I'm working really hard. She says, you're working really hard, but you got your priorities wrong. And I said, what do you mean by, what am I supposed to do with priorities? Explain that to me. And she says, put God first, put your wife second, put your kids third, and put your work last. Oh. We tend to do it backwards in life. Mm-hmm. We depend from work, then we worry about our kids, then we worry about our spouse, and then lastly, when we don't have nothing going on, that we don't have a choice, we reach out to God and say, hey, I need your help.
Oh, yeah. I'm doing bad now. God, I kind of need you to step in.
I need you to step in.
Yeah.
That's why they say that he's always in control, you know, but she's the one that taught me this. And ever since I started following the priorities that my mother wanted me to follow, God started blessing my life. It just started blessing. I mean, we're in 2022 now, and we're very blessed. I have 3 restaurants, you know, the one in Granite Bay, the one in Roseville, and now the one in Rockland. They're all doing well. Once again, I'm surrounded with a great staff. I have an amazing bookkeeper and Katrina, amazing CEO and Amanda.
Amanda told me she was your bodyguard.
She's pretty, yeah. She follows me all over the place. Yeah, I'm kind of ADD all the time. So, and I also don't, you know, throughout life, God puts certain people in your life to really make you succeed. And I think my girlfriend, Heather Hotby, she's the one that really structured my company and made it what it is today.
Your comments lead me to believe that it wasn't easy getting your company to this point of success. There were struggles. There was the requirement that you persevere. What were the biggest challenges?
That you have to be creative every time something is happening. I mean, the last couple of years, the whole world was affected by COVID. And I believe that only the ones that had creativity, the ones that had the wisdom and the courage to go with their wisdom were going to be the survivors. And here you are, you and I, going through this interview.
Yeah. You've obviously survived. You just opened this new location in Rockland, which I think was what prompted Doug and me to bring it up to Doug. I'm like, we've got this new restaurant here in Rockland that had just been opening. And you survived it. I survived. Somehow I survived it too. COVID was tough on, I guess, everybody. For our business, I do events. So we did a lot of events, big stuff around investing in startups. I have a co-working space. Nobody would come into the office. I couldn't do events. We do face-to-face interviews with my podcast. It was tough. I mean, but I have to imagine being in the restaurant business, you were required to close. Yeah,
we great point there. I got my employees together. I think it was in 2021. I think 2020, the Christmas, when they were telling me to close. And all my employees were like, Mario, we no longer have unemployment. We're running out of employment here. And, you know, we have to put food on the table, presents under the tree. And I remember that was the hardest decision that I had to make, the very hardest decision. So I decided to stay open. Placer County, to me, I'm grateful for them because they supported us a lot, especially in the restaurant industry. They backed us up. And obviously, we did things in a very cautionary manner. And we pulled through. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Yeah.
Well, so Christmas is rolling around now. What are you doing for Christmas? You're a person that's very spiritual. Is Christmas a big holiday for you and your family?
It is. Because a lot of the you know, the blessings that I didn't have growing up, I'm able to give it to my kids now. And not only to my kids, but to everybody that's a part of my life. We were talking about Jason Salinas.
Yeah.
How, Mark, I think we all have to have a purpose in life. And if each of us has a purpose, this world would be that much better.
Yeah.
My friend Jason Salinas giving away free shoes, a pair of brand new shoes to his to foster kids, because he was a foster kid at one point. It's my job to do other things, whether it's my own staff or people that need help. I try to get involved with Taro from Mikunis, with Brian, with everybody that's doing different things for our community.
Brian Bennett?
Yeah,
yeah.
Brian.
I love Taro. I love Brian too. Yeah.
So, all these people that I see, they're very inspirational to me. And that's what I'm telling you. My circle is very small, but I pay a lot of attention to all these people that are doing great things in our community. And I want to be at their same level, but for the right reasons,
Yeah. I mean, those, you mentioned Tyler, you mentioned Brian, I have a lot of respect for both of them. And they're both very giving to charitable organizations.
They are. Yeah.
To the less fortunate. You mentioned the word purpose. Have you created a word around your purpose, or a purpose statement that you sort of fall back on?
My way of seeing things, I don't want, and I pray on this a lot, I don't want to idolize money, ever. That's not my job. I believe my purpose is to continue creating employment for the people in our community. And I believe that that's my purpose at times, because unconsciously new opportunities arise, and it's almost as if God says, go for it. I got your back, right? I'm at 95 employees now.
Wow.
So, and growing. So I kind of smile about it now, because those employees depend on my decisions. So I have to be wise. I have to be careful, because my decisions can affect their families and the way they live every day.
Well, and to anybody out there that's, I guess, working for a company that's growing, that has 95 employees, and they're continuing to grow, there can be great opportunity working in those kind of companies, because you might start off as a server or a hostess, or I don't know if they call them a hostess or whatever, somebody who greets you at the door. But if you work hard, you come in early, you stay late, then you can get a promotion and an advancement. Next thing you know, you're managing a restaurant. In growing companies, sometimes we don't see the opportunity that exists, but it's there if we band together and create a business that almost, creates the opportunity for us.
Well, in life, a lot of the people that have worked for me, it's always an honor seeing them later on in their stages of life. I once walked into a restaurant and I was having dinner. It was about 10:30, late. And the waitress came over to me and said, "Sir, your meal has been taken care of." And I said, "Why?" Well, the owner took care of it. And it was an old cook of mine
He became
that became an owner of a restaurant.
That gives me chills.
So,
yeah.
So he went through my restaurants, and he was blessed later on in life. There's a lot of people that have gone through that. And so when you walk through my restaurants, I tell everybody, I want to make sure that my restaurants were a positive thing in your life. I do my best in that. And I also tell my director of operations, Andrea, I said to her, make sure that everybody we hire, they take something good from us. They take something good from us, because number one is the best advertising is when your own employees move on and they always remember the name of Mario Astorga Toast.
Yes. Well, I think you make a great point in terms of, sometimes you're inspired by a certain atmosphere. Maybe it's an entrepreneurial atmosphere, like Mario's Early Toast inspires you to take a risk, right? It's risky to go start your own restaurant or to buy a food truck, or if it was construction, go out on your own and, hang your own shingle and become a contractor. There's a lot of risk in that. It's not the same as, getting a steady paycheck every week. But we're inspired by people, and you never know. It doesn't have to be a school teacher or a football coach or a soccer coach. It could be the person that you work with in the restaurant. Very special.
Well, success stories, especially from people that have started way down, right? I mean, from washing dishes or a paper route. Mm-hmm. They weren't born in a silver platter. They have had their struggles, and suddenly they become millionaires. And but once again, they're so humble in their approach because of where they came from. They have had a long, long road ahead of them, and they finally become successful, but they stay very humble. And that's a word that I want to continue to mention to you, because I think the secret of being blessed in this earth is staying humble. We need to stay humble. If we can accomplish that, and treat others with respect, because humble it doesn't mean that you can't have good things. You can have all the great things in the world, but your approach should be always humble.
Yeah. It doesn't mean you can't be confident.
Exactly.
Right? And driven and optimistic.
There you go.
I love that. I have 3 core values that stand at the top of my list. Commitment, number 1. Humility, number 2. And authenticity is number 3. And as I invest, I do a lot of investing into people. And I always look for humility. Are they the type of person that I'd want to go out and have a cold beverage with? Or are they a know-it-all? And that's how I choose who I invest into. So they may have the coolest product in the world. If they don't have a level of humility, it's hard for me to want to be a part of their
I agree
growth.
with you. I think when I first met you, that I got good energy, right? And I think that's a gift that God gives us. When you feel that great energy between two people, when you sense that they're real, right? And
I think my humility came from getting the crap beat out of me by my older brother. And I wasn't the kind of athlete that you were.
Works,
I wanted to be a great athlete. You're a pro soccer player. Look, you're a pro soccer player. Did you have an older brother that beat you up?
No, I had a sister.
So how did you get your humility? Like humility, typically you get humble, right? Something happens to you that gives you that, I guess, respect for the rest of the world.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like a rock in the river, on the side of the river that the water keeps banging it with other rocks, right? Until it becomes smooth. We become humble, like you said. I mean, if your brother beat you up, sorry about that. But in my case, life.
Yeah.
Life. But the number one thing that I would want other people listening to your show today is, when life has those obstacles, never become a victim. Don't let what happens in your life define your circumstances. You have to be the one that defines who you're going to be, no matter what's happening in your life. There's no excuse for it. Define your own circumstances. Be a winner. Don't become a victim.
So if I'm around somebody that's acting like a victim, right? Because if you really think about it, I agree with you 100%. Don't become a victim. And you're working toward that way of being, but you're in an environment that has victims in it. And how do you deal with that? Do you cut them out of your life? Do you try to encourage them? I mean, to change their ways as adults? I mean, obviously as a parent, you got a responsibility to nip that in the bud and get rid of that, or try to knock that out. But when you're dealing with other adults and they're acting like victims, I've always struggled with how to deal with that.
I'm going to be very transparent and blunt on answering that. Once again, I think we have to draw a circle, and you got to know what type of people you want inside your circle. It's not a sin. It's not a sin to keep people outside your circle that are not bringing something positive to your life. Remember that. We can still pray for them. We can still be helpful to them. But I don't want somebody inside my circle that keeps bringing me down or keep holding me down. I don't want that. I want a Mark Haney in my life.
Thank you. I want Mario in my life.
I want to hear a phone call and go, hey, what's up? Dude, you're doing amazing.
Well,
so
we want people in our life. I feel like this has been said, many times, but we end up being the composite of the people we spend the most time with. And you want people that in your life, in your inner circle, that are going to make you a better person.
Yeah.
I would agree. So I appreciate you saying that about me. And you're a Niner fan, which I love.
Yeah, a huge Niner fan. Yeah, but I think a good friend has to let you know when you have to take accountability for something. We have a lot of friends that sometimes they tell you what you want to hear. But I think an amazing friend is the one that tells you, hey, Mario, you're heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah, maybe you should take a look in the mirror, Mario.
Yeah. You need to take care of what you're not doing correctly right now. And we do need those type of people in our life. We do. Like I told you, I'm surrounded with so many incredible people in this area. Oh my gosh, I have so many friends from Bayside Church or churches around the area that have been amazing in my life. And they help me be accountable. Mm-hmm. They help me be accountable, especially with my imperfections. So
one of your strengths, one of the things you've got this way about you, this aura, and I will call it the love, right? You use that term. I actually use that term around my office a lot. We're building what I call the backyard advantage, and it's catching on around Sacramento, that Sacramento can create its own advantage for entrepreneurs by working together to support local entrepreneurs. And we call it the backyard advantage. And at the center of that tribe, of that advantage, is love. And it catches people off guard occasionally that grown men like you and me can kind of talk like that openly. It's a business show, dude, right? And we're really talking about the love of our fellow man or fellow person, and the right thing to do is to help one another, especially when you're in the same hometown. We have skin in the game when it comes to building a great place for our families to live and thrive and hire employees and so on. And it's incumbent on us that get it to bring that to others that they may get it, but they don't know what to do with it. And so that's this club that we're building in this backyard advantage. But it's unique. It's a unique approach, but I think it can be a key to, I'm doing it for the purpose of helping entrepreneurs, but I think it could work in a group of restaurants. I have to imagine that that's a key piece of your culture.
Yes. I told you before, I depend from my community. So I have to always play an important role in the area that I live in. Be the best Mario that I can be, number one. Do good things for everybody in this community, and live an honorable life. Mm-hmm. Live an honorable life with everybody around me. So, but I depend from everybody here. Everybody. We get thousands and thousands of people on a monthly basis. Mm-hmm. So of course you become grateful. My kids go to school here because of those people. I live here because of the people that come into my restaurants. Sometimes people look at me weird when I go up by their tables. Hey, thank you for being here, and I'm grateful for you being here. And they just stare at me like, well, I'm very grateful for you being here. We don't take anything for granted.
So a guy like you that has had success, he's overcome things, you've got this love in your life, anybody listening or watching on YouTube saying, I really like this guy, Mario. But what happens when you wake up and you're in a bad mood, from something's bugging you, worrying you? Do you have like a methodology for getting yourself out of that? Yeah, you have to. Don't tell me you never get in that kind of funk. Oh
my gosh, Amanda will tell you she's
occasionally
she's even
the great Mario must get into a funk.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but when I'm kind of like a volcano, unfortunately, and I'm very direct and I'm very transparent. I'm patient, but when I finally get to a point, I just kind of explode. That's not good. So I pray a lot for God to give me the wisdom to be a good leader. Mm-hmm. I need to be a good leader in a daily manner. I need to be a good leader so that my managers can follow my example. I need to be a good leader so that my restaurants continue to succeed, right? Yeah. And you have to. I think the secret to succeeding is leading, always being humble, always knowing that you can be better.
Yeah, I agree. And so yesterday I woke up and I was in a great mood. I just woke up and I don't know why, but maybe I just got a great night's sleep. Today I woke up and I wasn't the same. I was trying to compare yesterday to today. Today I woke up and maybe I didn't get as good a night's sleep, but I didn't feel as good. But I had started this practice. I was telling my man Scott over here about this practice. I've been sharing with him, and it's about looking at the things that are important to me in life every morning when I get up. It's kind of like a little meditation thing that I do where I look at my purpose and I visualize and I try to put myself in that gratitude mentality. It helps a little bit, but I'm still practice. It's like a practice to deal with your volatility, or for me to deal with it. I was in a funky mood when I woke up this morning. But it just takes, it's kind of like a battle to do that, to come in and be this Mario or this Mark. It does take a little bit of, it takes like almost like a habit. You got to create habits that help you get there.
Yes, Mark, but I think you're naturally PMA. I don't know if you know what that means.
PMA, I don't.
PMA.
I know PMS.
No, I tell this to the people out there listening to us to always practice PMA, positive mental attitude. And what does that mean? That if you have a negative situation happening to you during the day, don't let that negative situation take away your joy. Don't let that negative situation take away, the person that you are. You're a positive person. You're somebody that looks at a negative situation, you go, you're just doing this so I can be better. So
right. Sometimes I think, you know what? They just haven't learned yet, right? So they'll get there. They're just not there yet. That's okay. Okay.
Yeah, positive mental attitude. You manage employees. You manage team members. Everybody's going to make mistakes, and you got to expect those mistakes, right? Yeah. So we have to learn how to deal with it, how to guide them, how to be composed, how to teach them. It's all part of training. But with that training also comes, you have to teach them the qualities of staying composed, staying calm. Don't panic. Everything's going to be okay. Yeah. And that all comes from PMA, having a positive mental attitude.
I love that. One of the things I do in the morning, I talked about thinking about my purpose and vision. And I also go through like forgiveness, and typically I'm forgiving myself, right? Because I'm kind of like mad at myself because I make way more mistakes than my teammates make. They're pretty good, pretty solid, or very solid. I'm the one that is typically the one that needs to be forgiven, and so it seems like every morning I'm forgiving myself for something.
I love that you just mentioned that word forgiveness. It's so important. That word is incredibly important in people's life, because most people, forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation with anybody. Mm-hmm. Forgiveness is something that we have to have so that we can have peace in our heart. And you're right. Sometimes we have to forgive ourselves because we reacted the wrong way, because we approached something the wrong way. And sometimes I got to go to one of my employees and sit down with, hey, can I talk to you? Hey, I want to apologize, and I want you to forgive me because I approached this the wrong way, and you deserve better. So humbleness and forgiveness, important words in life, right?
Hand in hand,
But it's part of being a leader, Mark, every single day,
Yeah. What's the longer term vision for Early Toast? Mario's Early Toast. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't know where God's, final steps are for me. I mean, if the opportunity arises where I'm going to continue opening more restaurants, I'll do it for the right purpose, not for the wrong purpose. Like I tell you, I kind of go with opportunity. If the opportunity is there, I take a step forward and do it. Mm-hmm. But I don't have do I have a set goal on 30 restaurants or 50 restaurants? Taro, right? And he'll be like, I want to open 50, right? Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know. I think a little bit different. It's if the opportunity is there, then I go for it.
Well, I like what you said earlier about doing it for your employees and your teammates. They seem to be a driving force behind what inspires you to grow. And so I like that as almost like a trigger. If the right opportunity, the right leadership develops from within, and the right real estate opportunity happens to fit, I guess that's a shout out something to anybody that's out there working for a company that wants to create their own opportunity, help the company grow, help create the opportunity within the company. And next thing you know, you've got an opportunity for yourself that maybe you wouldn't have had. So opportunity can be created if we commit. Mm-hmm. So we only have a few minutes left. So you've got this wisdom that's incredible. Any other thoughts for our entrepreneurial community out there, the people that are out there, fighting the good fight for entrepreneurship and being a small business owner?
No, just keep having faith. Every time you do something, keep having faith that eventually it's going to work out. There's one thing that I always say, I guarantee in life. A lot of people pay their dues. Okay? I didn't just become a restaurant owner. I was a server. I was a cook. I was a dishwasher. I was a janitor. I was everything, right? So when you're paying your dues, all that is, almost think of it as being put in a bank savings account. Your savings accounts become so big that suddenly when God gives you the opportunity to be an owner of an establishment and you go for it with faith, God's not going to let you down. The rewards are going to be there. Why? Because you already paid your dues. You will not fail. You already paid your dues. Do it with the confidence that you've done so much that God will not let you fail. Go for it. Don't ever hesitate. Go for it. And lastly, Mark, God gives you a vision. God gives each of us a vision. It doesn't give it to everybody. So most of the time, if we get a vision for yourself, we go share it with other people, and most other people, we live in a very negative society. Other people will shut down your vision and tell you, oh, you're crazy, or you're this, or you're that. Don't share their vision. Go for it. Trust yourself that the vision was given to you, so that you can succeed with your vision. Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to go for it. I'm sure you got in far because you had a vision.
Yes.
All right. So, and the vision that you have wasn't for everybody, it was for you. And that's what I want people to know.
Yeah. I love that, Mario. I love the pay the dues and think of it as a bank account and keep the faith and follow your vision, your heart. Don't listen to the naysayers. That is so important to all of us as we battle, because being a small business owner is not easy.
It's not easy.
So thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for the words of encouragement and inspiration. Thanks for building a successful restaurant with nearly 100 employees and, providing jobs to workers and providing a good breakfast. It's healthy. And you're buddies with Jason Salinas, so I love it. I'm going to go over there and have some of that healthy food. I might mix in some of the stuff that some people might deem as unhealthy, but I love breakfast, so I'm going to get over there.
Yeah, you got to try a workout with Jason. Just one.
A workout? Oh, I don't know. I could do that. Like I like yoga and CrossFit.
All right.
I've seen Jason. Those of you who don't know who Jason Salinas is, if you follow him on Instagram, he's pretty fit. He's an athlete. Yeah. So anyway, no, thanks a lot, Mario. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me, and hi to our community, and it's an honor being part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Mark Haney Show. And today we heard the story of Mario Astorga and Early Toast. And he is a true entrepreneur in every sense of the word. He is a guy that has taken risks. He's made sacrifices, and he's figured out a way to create opportunity and really provide a product and a service that we really need. We need a good place to go out and get a meal in the morning, and you want one that you can count on. And I guess that's why there's a line around the building when you go to Mario's Early Toast. Not always. Go swing by there. There's a few locations around the region, including one in Rockland. But we have a couple extra minutes today on the show, and we're going to go back to a segment on the show called Ask Mark Anything, and it's really about the fog perspective. I was going to say fog wisdom, the freaking old guy wisdom, but I'll probably reframe that and call that more of a perspective that you get from being that freaking old guy. And so some of the things that I believe in winning in life, winning in entrepreneurship, winning generally, I want to make sure that you have a chance to hear my perspective so that you might adopt some of that for your own journey so that you have the better opportunity to win. Because I think the best way to learn is by, without a doubt, getting in the game, rolling up the sleeves, and learning by doing, right? In the trenches. The truth, as I say, is in the trenches. But the second best way to learn is by talking to people that have been there and done that. So I'm going to share a little bit of my perspective. And the other thing I would add is that, my perspective, get a variety of perspectives, but I've got a couple of questions that people have asked me over the last few months, and I've jotted them down. So last week I talked about how to get plugged into the ecosystem. And this week I'm going to go down my list. Let me see here. What am I going to ask myself here? Let's go with, do I believe, Mark, do you believe in New Year's resolutions? And with New Year's right around the corner, it's probably a good time to start thinking about whether you're going to do New Year's resolutions or not. So do I believe in New Year's resolutions? I think they're good. Yeah, I do. I don't do them per se. Typically, they're not my way of dealing with achievement because I think that they can be helpful if you're needing to start doing something or maybe stop doing something. And really, these are things that we all wrestle with. Think about some of the toughest things that we have to do with creating self-discipline. It might mean self-discipline in a workout or in a diet, of what time I'm going to show up to do something. We all have these, let's say, good habits and bad habits. And so many times we want to use New Year's Day as the day that everything's going to change. I think that makes sense too, because it's a place in time where we can kind of plant the flag. And if that's what you need as your crutch or as your little mind hack in order to make the change, I fully support it. It's really, these are very, very difficult things to do, right? Self-discipline and creating new routines for yourself and making those changes. It's tough to decide to do them because they're hard. And sometimes it helps to sort of get up for the big game when everything's going to change. And so I highly encourage you to consider New Year's resolutions. But I think the bigger part of why New Year's resolutions can work, sometimes they don't work, but sometimes they really do. And there are a few hacks that I use in order to help myself to make those commitments and keep those commitments. And what I do is I write it down and revisit. A couple of examples of that are what my team and I did. The Growth Factory team and I went to Tahoe last week, and we did our annual planning. So it's a little bit like a New Year's resolution where we set our annual goals and we created our game plan for 2023, and we began to do that. It actually is a work in progress now, even in December. But really, we set our Q1 goals, well, our 2023 goals and then our Q1 goals, and we write them down, we revisit them. And in a team setting, it's super helpful for getting people communicating and on the same page. So in many ways, a New Year's resolution is more personal than that. And so what I do on a personal standpoint is I use Evernote, but you could use a yellow piece of paper. I've used yellow pads over the years. I've written it down on 8.5 by 11s, but write it down and revisit it. And what I do on Evernote is I write down the questions that I need to think about every morning, and I call them my morning sky high questions. I'll go over this briefly because I know I'm kind of limited on time, but why is Haneyville the most magical place in the world? It puts that into my mind, right? Haneyville's my family compound that I'm building. Why is the backyard advantage so widely embraced? Right? I'm asking myself those questions. And what ignited the entrepreneurial revolution? And what is so powerful about the backyard advantage? And why am I the fittest 85-year-old in the world? So I'm asking myself these questions to get myself in the right mindset so that I can remember what my goals are, put myself in the mindset of those goals, and then actually go through and visualize the things that I want to get better at and the way that I'm going to go about that and achieve that. And because we're limited on time, I'm not going to go into deep depth on any of those things. But what I would encourage you to do, if you're not doing anything in this realm, is set a New Year's resolution. It's a great way to go. I set my mission statement back in 2010. I've been using that as my true north, and that's guided me. I've made these little tweaks to my routine over the years that help me to stay committed. I've still got some bad habits, and I'm still working through that because I'm human. We all do, but we all need those crutches. But what I would highly encourage you to do, write it down, revisit it, do your best to stick with it. There are so many other things that you can do in order to stay with your program. But as we go into the new year, I just wish you the best of luck in making that change that you're looking to make, whether it be stopping something that you've been doing for a long time or starting something that you need to begin in order to change the trajectory of your life. And look at every aspect of your life, from fitness to family to business to career to your financial situation, your spiritual relationships, and make the change. Make one change for the first of the year. Think about what you need to change, and maybe this is your time to make that change. And so I wish you the best of luck. So all you out there fighting the good fight for entrepreneurship, all of you fighting the good fight out there for our freedom, our security, our way of life, and to everybody out there that is working to make a change, right? To make a difference, to make an impact. And the first people that we have to change are the people that we see when we look in the mirror. And to all you out there looking to create a better life, you know, here at the Mark Haney Show, at Haney Biz, at the Growth Factory, and as part of the Backyard Advantage, we're never above you. We're never below you. We're always by your side. Thanks for watching today's show. My goal for every episode is that you find a takeaway, something tangible you can use in your business today. And if you have a comment about a favorite takeaway, feel free to put it in the box below. And if you have a topic that you'd like me to bring up on the show, don't forget to let me know. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to learn more about entrepreneurship. Because at Haney Biz, we are always by your side.